Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Econ Vision by your teaching buddy. I am back with another video which is in continuation to my last video. I discussed about the consumption and investment part, and investment I discussed about two type of an investment, that one was an autonomous investment and second was an inclusive investment. Right. Today I'll be discussing about the two-sector model, which is basically the summation of what we have studied in the last videos. Like we studied that AD is in summation of C plus I will be substituting the consumption and investment function to it. Like we all know that consumption function is C bar plus small c by Y, multiplication to Y, and I stands for only the autonomous investment. Why I am taking only the autonomous investment? To just keep it simple, and I wanted to show you the standard small uh, equilibrium model, that is short run equilibrium model, and in that too where the prices are fixed. So I am only taking the autonomous part till there, right? So you can see in many of the places like the autonomous C and autonomous I combinedly is known as autonomous A, that is C bar plus I bar is considered to be as an A bar somewhere. So like our AD model will now look like A bar plus small c multiplied with Y. I hope it's clear to everyone. This A is basically the autonomous expenditure which is run in an economy, summation of autonomous consumption and autonomous investment. Like at many places you will be seeing in the consumption part not only YD but as in Y, uh, like this. C is in C bar plus small c by YD. Now what does this YD basically means is YD is the disposable income, and it is calculated by subtracting your taxes from your actual income. Suppose your income is 1000 rupees and you pay taxes like 200 rupees, so YD will be considered as in your 800, the subtraction of in taxes out of it, right? So YD is taken here. As you can see that Y minus T stands for the YD, which is a disposable income, right? Now determining the equilibrium in short run, I'll be discussing. There are different ways to which we can see that. Now first I'll be showing you the graphical representation of the consumption function. Now this is a consumption function. As I have told you that AD is equals to C plus I plus G. Now where C stands for the autonomous consumption plus MPC by Y, or YD also you can say. Now this autonomous consumption is determined as an A here. Now this A stands for similar as to an autonomous part. This autonomous part says that whenever your income level is zero, still whatever we consume is termed to be as an autonomous. Then it shows a positive relationship between your income and in consumption. As we can see in this model, plus sign shows you the positive relationship between your income and the consumption. That's why this slope trends to be in the positive and upward direction, right? The slope of this is considered to be as in this C, which is an MPC. So whenever you have been told to find out the slope of the consumption function, so it is basically the MPC, and I have told in the earlier videos of mine that how to calculate the MPC. I am telling you once again, the MPC is termed to be as in change in C by change in Y. Whatever there is a change in Y, which is divided by the change in the C, right? It shows you the change, so it is the slope. On the x-axis you will be determining like the income part, and on the y-axis you will be determining the consumption complete part. This shows you that C is independent variable of Y, which is in C is an dependent and Y is an independent variable. Right, I hope it's clear about the consumption function representation, where C bar stands for the the intercept part, and this particular value stands for the consumption function completely. If I talk about the investment part, here I am only taking the autonomous investment, so it is just a straight line where I is investment function is equals to investment bar. Investment bar basically means that autonomous investment. In the earlier video I have told you about the different parts of investments also, like induced investment, right? I hope it's clear to you whatever I'm trying to say. Here also whenever we are representing, the Y is represented on the x-axis and C and I is represented on the y-axis, right? Now whenever we try to club them to make AD, like as AD is in summation of C plus I, we have seen individually how C is represented, and we have seen individually that how I is represented. As we know that I is the constant part and C bar, that is autonomous consumption, is also in standard part, right? This is an autonomous in consumption, and this complete is an autonomous investment. You will be more clear to it by the some numerical part. So let's try to consider that numerical part first, so that you will be able to clear up more way that what I am trying to say and what this graph is going to represent. I will be showing you with that, right? Okay, let's start. Suppose that you have been given the C as in 100 plus 0.5 y. Now this consumption function says is the autonomous consumption is 100, MPC is 0.5 on y. Your investment part is like suppose 100. Like it's just an hypothetical example what I am taking. Okay, let's try to represent this particular thing in like this, right? Okay, let's start. Now, whenever we want about the AD will be considered as C plus I, right? Now, how the C will be looking like? 100 plus 0.5 y plus will be considered as an 100, which is an investment part. Now, if I talk about A, the A is completely termed to be as in 200 plus 0.5 y. Now, why I have written this 200? Because it's an A part where I have combined the autonomous consumption and autonomous investment, right? Now, let's try to figure it out that how it represented on the graphical part. Now the gap between the consumption part is termed to be as an autonomous consumption is this, and the investment part gap is this. Now if I am talking about this L part, L is basically the gap of C plus I, which is A, which is equals to 200, right, which is a summation of both the things. As you can see on the graph also that I stands for I bar, C stands for C bar plus Cy, and it's the combination which is an AD. So AD stands on the L part, which is represented as an autonomous expenditure, which is 200, as we have seen before. Why there is showing a parallel gap between them? Because I is a constant value. Whenever you try to add any constant value to a line graph, it becomes constantly shifting parallel towards. If you deduct something, it will be downward. If you add something, it's on the upper part of it, right? I hope it's clear to you how AD is represented, how C is represented, and how I is represented, right? Let's talk about the supply side of the macroeconomics. I am discussing only about the fixed prices. In the fixed prices, you will be seeing that aggregate demand makes an angle of an 45-degree straight line. Whenever the AD meets this AS part, there is an equilibrium level. Whenever they intersect, we can say that according to our macro also where the like our demand and supply meets, so it is in term of a shortened equilibrium. So it's AD is equals to AS. Why do we say as this as a fixed part? Because we are showing here as a straight line. AD, whenever the aggregate demand is equals to aggregate supply, that's why we say it is an equilibrium. And short run is set because the price level is not changing. If the price level is changing throughout the time period, then we can say it is a long run equilibrium. It's not a short run. It is short run, the price level is not able to change. That's the only reason why we are able to find out the AD as a 45-degree line, which is tangent, right? Tangent 1. The slope of this is 1, which tells you that whatever the income is, it's equal to the supply in the market, right? Whatever the income is generated in the particular market value, the same the supply value is. The change of them is this, right? Now I can show you the supply the complete part, that is AD is equals to AS. This 45-degree line is considered to be as an AS and the rest part is considered to be as an AD. Now there are two scenarios you can see here is, the first is where your AD is greater than AS, and the next scenario is where your AS is greater than AD. Now these two situations, what they are depicting is, the first half of this where AD is greater than AS shows you that the demand is high but the supply is very less, and the rest of the part shows you where the supply is more, the demand is less, right? The point at an E shows you the equilibrium level, which shows you that whatever you decided, the ex ante aggregate demand is equals to ex ante aggregate supply. Now this is what we decided, what we desire to have it. That's why we are saying that ex ante aggregate demand is equals to ex ante aggregate supply. Now the actual value depends upon the ex post, whatever the actual financial market is going to work, that will be different from our predicted one or are the desired one. So we are going to represent the changes of them in the next part, and we're going to see that what will happen and how the changes are going to be there if your AD and AS changes in the post period, like in the ex post part. Like till here we were discussing about the ex ante part, but what is the actual value comes out to be, that will be different from, and it can be equal also. Like sometimes the prediction is so accurate that ex ante and ex post are equal, but it is the most rare cases, because in during the financial year there are many other changes which happen to be there, which makes them change, right? So what is the effect of them, what values affect, and how our equilibrium level changes with those effect will be told you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you still have any doubt, you can comment it down. Thank you so much.